If you have been following what's going on in River State, right? If you have really been paying attention to what is, I don't know, a drama that is pretty much political drama that has been unfolding in River State, you you probably would have been sitting there wondering and asking yourself some questions. What in the world is going on? Right? What in the world is going on? For me, it's really stunning. It's stunning. I mean, we have a country that continues to plunge into derision. It continues to go down and down and down. They continue to go low and low. That's what we have. That is basically what we have going on. You have a governor who ruled for 8 years, undisturbed, unperturbed, with basically an iron fist, almost in an authoritarian style, unopposed. And what did he do? While exiting office, he decided to elevate his own. Right? And we know who we're talking about here. Wike, Nyesom Wike. Right? While leaving office. He said, what should I do? How do I protect myself? He did what many politicians are very accustomed to doing, which is godfatherism. Let me put someone who will always cover my behind. He literally and practically made Fubara a governor. His own boy. And now he is getting a dose of his own medicine. So for me, I have sat down, I have watched series of interviews from the people who know the Constitution of Nigeria. I've listened to the side of the APC, and I've also listened to the side of the PDP. But one thing that stands out to me as always is, where is the Nigerian people? Oh yes. Where are the people of River State? So I decided to make this video to make sure that we are learning the pertinent lessons of this political fight, or this political drama, or whatever you choose to call it. Because the moment we start learning the lessons of life, things will begin to change. Lesson number 1. What is unfolding? And I always say to myself, why is it that people never learn? Politicians never learn. People never learn. Why? But lesson number 1. What is happening is a clear demonstration that just because you raised someone up, it doesn't mean they are here to regurgitate you. That's lesson number 1. I don't care which aisle you belong to. I don't care whether you are a PDP or APC sympathizer. That is not my interest. My interest is about the Nigerian people that once again have been put to the sideline. They've been neglected. So going back to lesson number 1, just because you put someone in the position of authority or in the position of power, it doesn't mean they have to do every of your bidding. They also do have their own independent capacity of thought to make their own decisions. And that is what the successor That is what Fubara is showing. That yes, you may have elevated me politically. You may have put me here as the successor, but I am the current governor of River State, not the governor of Nyesom Wike. That's your lesson number one. Whether you like him or not, there is something to be admired by someone who says, I am not blindly going to be loyal to you because you made me who I am. And you've probably been in your life where somebody has done you a favor. And I am not preaching ingratitude, but I am saying there is something about a man or woman who is willing to still stand on their own and not just let the favor that was done for them in the past become the remote control of their life. Lesson number 2. It is really sad. It really is. It's bordering on shamelessness that we have politicians or lawmakers or whatever their names are who are governed by zero philosophy. Now, what do I mean? I have been in the States for 14 good years. I can count on top of my hands how many people defected from the Democrats to the Republicans. The numbers are almost negligible. But here we have a people that do not have any philosophical persuasion. They crisscross political lines at all times. They switch parties as if you are changing diaper of a child. They are governed by zero political beliefs. Zero. Here, before someone goes from being a Democrat to a Republican, it takes a while. Because there's a distinction between the Republicans and the Democrats. And choosing to be a member of a certain party means that you are choosing to espouse their philosophy. But you have a people that promiscuously, essentially prostitute themselves around, politically speaking. They go to bed this night and wake up tomorrow. They go to bed this night PDP and wake up tomorrow APC. Without any iota of shame. It is on record. Wike once referred to APC as cancer. But guess what? He is working for APC. That is the level of shamelessness that our people exude in politics. He has been turned into an errand boy, a chef, a choir master in Abuja. So whether you like him or not, and for me, this is not about Wike or Fubara. This is once again about the people of Nigeria. Wike has had 8 years of absolute grip, absolute hold on the affairs of River State. Upon exiting office, he implanted somebody to watch his back. He did whatever he did during the election. And in reciprocity, APC paid him back. with his low appointment as the Minister of FCT. That is not enough for him. He still wants to stay in Abuja and control the affairs of the people of Rivers State. Lesson number 3. Greed. We do not have leadership that is centered on the people. It's all about how much can you put in my bank account. It's all about their individualism and their selfish interest. That's all they care about. I have listened to people come on national television. I have listened to people from the side of APC making an argument that, oh, you cannot legislate with 5 people because 27 members of the rep decided to defect from PDP to APC. And the governor and the speaker of Rivers State had to pronounce their seats vacant. The governor had to pass a budget with 5 members of the House. Now somebody is arguing on national television that you cannot legislate with just 5 people. That's from the side of the APC. From the side of the PDP, apparently the Constitution says, I do not know. I do not claim to know. I'm not a law student. But from the side of the PDP, they are saying for you to defect, for you to move overnight from PDP to APC, you have to demonstrate that there is a serious crisis that makes it ungovernable in the party. And based on the information that is available to you and I, that is not the case as of today. So what would make 27 people wake up unanimously, turn their backs on their own party through which they were elected, and overnight became members of the APC? Is it because there's so much injustice in PDP? Is it because there's so much evil going on in PDP? They are fed up of it. You and I know the answer. It's all about greed. It's all about promises they have been made. It's all about more money. They did not wake up and say, you know what? There's so much injustice in the land. We want to fight it. And the best platform we can find to find it is APC. That, my friends, is not the case. It's all about greed. Wike is in Abuja removing them around. And they're plotting impeachment against the current governor, who has not been kissing the behind of Nyesom Wike. That is what is happening. Greed. There is never the consideration of the people who put them into the position of power. None. Zero. It doesn't exist. They do not give a heck. They don't care. They do not care. Lesson number 4. In everything regarding the politics of Nigeria, it is never about the people. And this reminds me about the video that I made previously. When Mr. Ibu was sick, and there was so much infighting and insults and altercations and disagreements and misunderstanding online about whom to help him. But again, when anything happens in that country, we manage to miss the point. And that compelled me to make a video where I said, where is the Nigerian government whose primary duty is to secure lives and property? It is not the duty of a fellow Nigerian to take care of the poor people. You can support, but it's not your duty. So the same thing reminds me of what's happening now. Anytime you hear the politicians in Nigeria arguing, fighting, it's never about the people. And you and I would have to come to the point where we will start doing something about it. You can never hear Nigerian people, their politics, their politicians, arguing what is happening in Rivers State. It's not about how do we improve the welfare of our people. None. It's not about fiscal conservatism. None. It's not about employment. Zero. It's not about infrastructure. They don't care about it. It's not about your education. What we constantly have been dealing with for the past couple of days, if not weeks, is about the self-centeredness, the greed, the insatiable interests of our politicians. The next thing you do, judiciary will come and make some bogus pronouncement. The people once again are let down. We are not having a fight between Wike and Fubara over the affairs and welfare of the people of Rivers State. That alone is tragic. And if you are a well-meaning Nigerian who believes in the truth, who believes in the rule of law, who believes in justice, regardless of whether you like Fubara or not, I mean, you have got to say, Wike, you ruled for 8 years. Pack your bags and go. Let this young man do what he has been elected to do. And that is to serve the people of Rivers State. Lesson number 5. I lost my count. The Nigerian people. What do I mean? I have talked about how at the end of the day, in anything that happens in our politics, our politicians find a way to neglect you and I. They find a way to make it about themselves, about what they want, not about what is in the interest of the Nigerian people. That has been established. But you also know what else has been established is the active participation of Nigerians in neglecting themselves. There's this Igbo proverb. It says, Onyajuro anagajome. He who has been neglected does not neglect himself. Question for you. Where are the people of Rivers State? Right now, they should be on the street, Right now, they should be on the road. Right now, they should start shutting places down, demanding that the governor they elected be allowed to do what is in the interest of the people of Rivers State. Demanding that people like Wike should hands off, because he had 8 years, 8 uninterrupted years, to do as he so pleased, unopposed. The people of Rivers State, who ultimately will suffer the consequences of this joke that is playing out, should be on the street demanding that Fubara be left alone, making it abundantly clear to the federal government that any interruption, any foul play, any miscarriage of justice, they will not tolerate it. Because you and I already know how this is going to unfold. Wike is going to exploit his relationship with Tinubu, and they're going to start sniffing around from Abuja, looking for ways to undermine the governor. Because traditionally and historically, Wike does not lose to anybody. And he is not about to idly sit by and watch a boy he put into power ridicule him. So in anticipation of that, the people of Rivers State need to wake up. So many times in our politics, our people think that the solution will come from idleness, from watching from the sideline, hoping, wishing, and praying that things will turn themselves around. And I do hate to be the bearer of bad news. That does not work. It has never worked. It will never work without the active participation, without the active insistence of our people, without our people resisting criminality. Nothing will change. So I just wanted to highlight these lessons for you and I, because it literally makes my heart bleed. I sat there and I was asking myself, when was the last time you heard good news about Nigeria? Politically speaking. I'm not talking about 1 or 2 Nigerians. I'm not talking about in entertainment and sports. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about politically speaking. When was the last time you heard good news about the politics of Nigeria? Is a question for you to ponder tonight. Just in your quiet moment. Just ask yourself a fundamental question. When was the last time you heard good news about the politics of Nigeria? It's really heartbreaking. In the last presidential election, we thought we were about to get good news. With the passage of the new electoral law, we thought that was going to herald and usher in a new era of politics. Politics of transparency, and politics where your votes would count. But what happened? They still found a way to sabotage the process, as they always do. You had INEC chairman going all the way to the United Kingdom, marketing and selling the idea of electronic transmission of results. But at the dying moment, they abandoned it. That election, by the way, cost the taxpayers money of 300 billion. I'm not here to rehash what happened. If you know, you know. But in this channel, what we try to do is to get you to start asking certain fundamental questions. You are not here to regurgitate what people have done in the past, things that have shown to be unsuccessful and failure at best. This generation is expected to do things differently. And if I can get you to start thinking critically, I shall have done my job. Because at the heart of what is happening in Nigeria and in Africa at large, it's ignorance and the inaction of the masses. I have never seen a country built by God from heaven. The people get to a point where they have had it to this point, and they say enough is enough, and we cannot be treated less than human beings. And when you see what is playing out in River State, it's just another reminder that everything about the politics of Nigeria revolves around the self-centeredness, the selfish interest of the politicians. People of Nigeria are hardly factored into the equation. It's all about their greed, recycling the position of power, swapping political parties like when you are changing the diaper of a little child. There is no philosophical belief that governs their actions. You go to bed PDP and you wake up APC. You call a party cancer and the next day you are working for them. And what is more tragic is that the people who are supposed to be upset have found a way to normalize something that you can't even normalize. That's one of the biggest and painful tragedies about what is happening in Nigeria, is that the people are sleeping while the house is on fire. Nigeria can never get it right without the active participation of the people. They have to insist at all times, not through sporadic protest, not through wishful thinking, not through fasting and prayer, but through constant pressure on the government, letting them know that you cannot continue to get away with murder, and why we watch in silence. When I was listening to what they were saying, I was just asking myself, because someone made a claim that you cannot legislate with 5 people. But I'm just sitting there and I'm asking myself, what about the governor who owes it to the people of Rivers State to govern, to provide food for? What is he supposed to do? Sit down and wait for these 27 lawmakers and their self-interest decide to come back? Even if you argue that what he was doing was criminality, well, there are layers of criminality. Sometimes you jettison protocol and do what is in the best of the people who are dying and suffering. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. I am still waiting for you to subscribe. Stay blessed.